Well, earlier today I spoke to the chief executive of RBS, Stephen Hester, and we started on the question of whether he should still be in his job. Stephen Hester, the detail here is very shocking. Half of it at least happened on your watch. Why haven't you resigned?
Let me be clear, first of all, what the 21 people who have, if you like, been found to have tried to manipulate yen and Swiss franc Libor did is disgraceful. There is no room at RBS or in our industry for that kind of wrongdoing.
It happened for 2 years while you were the boss. So what responsibility do you bear?
The legacy at RBS that was inherited by the current board, chairman, board, management team, me, was a difficult one across many areas.
But the question is, were you even doing the right thing when you knew that there was a potential problem? You were alerted or asked to start investigating in April 2010. You didn't have any Libor-related systems or controls in place until a year after that, in March 2011. Why did it take you a year to even start checking?
I think that it is absolutely right that in Libor, we won't be the only bank with these findings, of course, but in our case, that it was not a regulated area and the rules, if you like, were there but not as well developed as they are today, and we did not know the wrongdoing that was going on. So our systems and controls were poor and we didn't know about the wrongdoing. It took 11 million documents to be trawled through until about March of 2011 before we discovered the extent of the wrongdoing, and we fixed it very quickly thereafter. But you're absolutely right. It took time to discover that wrongdoing, and the bank's systems and controls that had been in place for years were not brought up to snuff. And by the way, in a whole series of other areas, were also not up to snuff.
And yet some of the wrongdoers seem to have got away with it. At least 8 of the 21 managed to leave the bank before action was taken against them. I mean, what happens to them? Are they just somewhere in the city working away, making millions?
I think that it is important that the authorities look at any wrongdoers, whether in this bank or the other banks that have been involved in Libor, and reach conclusions about them.
I mean, bear in mind the context we're in. We're in a week in which a cabinet minister is going to jail for giving his wife some speeding points. You know, and yet bankers are still employed by the bank when they were fiddling interest rates?
I think that your point is very important. Wrongdoing must be treated as such wherever it occurs, and penalties assigned according to the nature of the wrongdoing and so on. But beyond that, beyond the specific issue of wrongdoing, the culture of selfishness and self-servedness, which, if you like, milder versions have gone throughout different things in the banking industry in different parts across lots of different companies, must also be seen as an excess of past years and corrected. This is not a banking industry that I came back into wanting to be responsible for. This
is going to cost taxpayers millions, isn't it, in lost tax, apart from anything else, because this is coming out of profits in terms of the fines. What would you say to them?
The damage from the history of RBS runs into tens of billions of pounds for different things. Fortunately, RBS is a strong enough company and being improved that the profits of this business are paying for that damage, and I hope that we are soon coming to the point where those profits will have paid for the past damages and then be available to shareholders and give us a share price that will allow the taxpayer to recoup. We are in, I think, the late stages of that. I don't control the stock market, but I believe that this awful event, which won't be the last difficult event, but this awful event is in the later stages of our cleanup, and that we are moving towards a point where RBS can be, if you like, the proper contributing company and bank that this country needs.